Who's actually getting the most out of a 180-inch fixed-frame screen, who could probably get away with a cheaper pull-down, and does the price make sense for someone who just watches movies on weekends? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Those are the questions that keep most of us up at night when we stare at a blank wall and wonder whether the next big home theater upgrade is worth the hassle. I've been watching the projector market for a while, and one pattern keeps showing up. People either buy a screen that's too small for their room or they settle for a cheap, thin fabric that looks great under a dim lamp but washes out when you crank the projector to full brightness. The WUPRO Gallery fixed frame tries to sit right in the middle, big enough to fill a dedicated home theater wall, with a matte white surface that promises consistent color and contrast. The big decision point is whether that promise actually translates into a noticeable improvement over a simple painted wall or a budget-grade pull-down, especially when you factor in installation effort and cost. First off, the size. At 180 inches measured diagonally, the screen is designed for rooms where you can sit about 8 to 10 feet away and still see a crisp image. If you're working with a bedroom or a small apartment, the frame will dominate the wall and you'll end up with a lot of empty space around it, which can feel uncomfortable. The product itself advises you to project an image first before you commit, just to make sure the dimensions match your throw distance and seating layout. That's solid advice because a mismatch can mean you're either squinting at a tiny picture or you have to zoom in so much that the projector's native resolution gets blurred. In practice, anyone with a dedicated media room, a finished basement, or a home theater closet will find that 180 inches is a sweet spot for a 1080p or even a 4K source, provided the projector can throw that size at the distance you have. The screen's surface is described as a soft matte white with a 1.0 gain rating. In projector speak, a gain of 1.0 means the screen reflects the same amount of light that hits it, nothing more, nothing less. That sounds boring, but it's actually a good middle ground. If you have a bright projector with a lot of lumens, a high-gain screen would reflect too much light, making whites look blown out and colors washed. Conversely, a low-gain screen would suck light away, leaving you with a dim picture in a room that isn't pitch black. The matte white of the WUPRO screen is engineered for fully dark environments, which is exactly what a traditional home theater setup strives for: lights off, curtains drawn, and the projector doing all the work. In the real world, I've seen a lot of people who think the brighter the screen, the better, only to discover that the picture looks flat after a few weeks of use. With this screen, the whites stay true, the blacks stay deep as your projector can push them, and the colors stay vivid without any artificial boost. Now, let's talk about installation. This isn't a wall-mounted piece of fabric you can just slap on with a few hooks, it's a fixed frame that you bolt into studs. That means you need to be comfortable with a drill, a level, and a bit of patience to make sure the frame sits perfectly square. The frame itself is lightweight aluminum, so you won't be hanging a massive piece of steel, but you do need to find the right studs or use a mounting board. For a first-time installer, the process can take a couple of hours, especially if you're aligning the screen with a pre-existing projector mount on the ceiling. If you're a DIY enthusiast, that's part of the fun. If you're looking for a plug-and-play solution, this might feel like an unnecessary hurdle. The upside is that once it's up, the screen is rigid, doesn't ripple, and stays perfectly flat, something you can't guarantee with a pull-down that can sag over time. What about the actual viewing experience? The biggest practical strength of the WUPRO Gallery is its consistency across projector types. Whether you have a DLP, LCD, or laser source, the 1.0 gain and matte surface give you a reliable baseline. I've seen users pair it with a 3000 lumens home theater projector and get a bright, punchy image that looks almost like a commercial cinema screen. When the same projector is used in a dimly lit living room, the screen's matte finish helps reduce glare from any stray light, something you often see with glossy screens that act like a mirror. Another practical win is the border. The fixed frame includes a thin black edge that helps frame the image, reducing the floating picture effect that can be distracting on a plain white wall. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs you should be aware of. Because the screen is optimized for dark rooms, it doesn't perform as well in ambient.